an educational video on admitting workflow for an inpatient. Once you log into PowerChart and find your patient and have your patient's electronic medical record in front of you, the home screen always brings you to the provider view here in the gray menu. Over to the right of the provider view are your different M tabs for your different opportunities. We are going to work through the inpatient workflow to admit this patient. You can see here that on the top of this, it starts right out with their chief complaint entered earlier in the ER. You can review the patient's allergies. You can review the patient's problem list, checking over here whether it's this visit or a chronic visit. You can review prior visits by pulling down this tab here, and you can enter new problems if you wish by clicking in the search field and adding. For instance, we'll put in shortness of breath. It would help if I spelled it right. There we go. We'll add shortness of breath. And then we can go down to the tab for new order entry. There are 4 significant steps for doing your admission, and the very first one is the patient's status order. By typing in PSO for patient status order, it brings up all of the different matches for PSO. And as you can see, there is no patient status order here, but over here on the right, there's a little next tab that you can click on. It scrolls over and there's your PS order, patient status order. By clicking on this, it puts it up in the inbox. Up here, you can see the green number 1, orders for signature. We can click on the orders for signature field. Here it has the patient status order, and it gives what the different criteria are for the diagnosis is. We're going to click on modify for details. It's going to open up the order screen in front of you, and we're going to choose whether the patient is going to be an inpatient, an observation patient, or an outpatient in the bed. For the case of this training video, we will go in and put a check mark in for an inpatient. The blue circle arrives with the white X saying that the sentence is not complete. We're going to finish the sentence by choosing the acute med floor, and we're going down here to raise the details area up a little bit by hovering and grabbing, and it requires an admitting physician and an attending physician. This is where you'd put yourself in. I am going to use our generic one of Cerner for the admitting and Cerner for the attending, but you would simply type in your name. At this point in time, all the required fields are taken care of. The blue circle is missing. I'm going to initiate this now. And orders for signature, I'm going to click on that, click sign, and it is ordered. The next tab here is where you can review different documents. Home medications. This is the second required step for an admission, is your medication reconciliation. By clicking on the home medications tab, you can see the listed home medications that was provided when the patient arrived in the emergency room. This was completed by the nurse. You're going to go over here on the right. It shows the medical history has been completed by an ER nurse or somebody, and you're going to do the admission reconciliation. You can see as I hover, it says it's not started. Clicking on it is going to open up a new window for their home medication list. This is where you can say continue the medication, and at this point in time it's saying that height and weight is missing, so we're going ahead and documenting that. We'll say that this patient is 100 kilos, and we'll say 185 centimeters for height. So that's completed. You go up here to the green check mark on this form to sign off that form, and that enables the weight to be documented. For the multivitamins, we're going to say we're not going to continue that here. And for the lisinopril, we can say we'll continue that. We're going to sign off on their home medication reconciliation. And when you sign that off, you can see that you now have a green check mark by the admission medication reconciliation, which is required. Under new order entry, another thing we're going to need is a general admission order. So under here, under the search field, I'm going ahead and typing general. And it brings up several different general medication power plans being the pie charts here. I'm going to go ahead and click on the general admission. And again, it puts it in the outbox up here, with the little outbox with the green number 1. I'm going to click on there. And again, it gives the opportunity to modify. I'm going to modify the details for the general admission. It'll open up the power plan. And with all power plans, it comes with pre-populated check marks, any of which you turn off. And then on the right are sentences. So currently this patient is automatically in there as resuscitation status of full code. And of course, you can pull down the arrow and choose a different one from the full code if you wish. Isolation, same thing. You can click on the isolation and change it from contact to droplet if you wish. And when it opens up a field down here for the details, you can close that field by clicking on that arrow right there. Again, it gives you all the different opportunities for being able to check how you'd like the patient's status to be, their diet, whether you want them to be NPO or with exceptions or not. And you can complete down through your entire order section, choosing IV fluids if you want. If you were to click this, it opens up the opportunity to choose your IV fluids, medication management, pain management, laboratory tests that you can choose, radiology reports, all the different options, oxygen therapy, consults here at the bottom where you can order to have such as a cardiology consult. Right click to modify to get rid of that blue arrow. You have to reason for the consult and to whom you are placing the consult order. If there was a particular order in here that you did not see and you wanted to add it to your admission order, that's done up here at the top where it says add to phase. If you pull down that caret window, you can add an order. It brings open the search window. For instance, you might want to add fentanyl to the order. Fentanyl patch for pain, it doesn't really matter what it is. And initiate now. When you're complete with your power plan as you desire to have it, you click here on the right hand side where it says orders for signature. It's going to ask for VTE prophylactics that's required for you to address in one way, shape, or form. We'll go ahead and check that we're placing the patient on Lovenox. Signing the orders. And you've now placed the orders for the power plan. Continuing to review, you can go through the entire inpatient workflow, checking the vital signs, the current labs that exist, As you go down, it gives you the opportunity to type in subjective history about this current illness. You would fill in any information that you so choose. Reviewing of symptoms, same thing. This is also where you can do dot phrases such as dot PE, and that gives you the opportunity to put a physical exam in if you're comfortable with dot phrases, altering them any way you might wish within the dot phrase. When you're done addressing the reviewing of the systems and addressing each of these tabs, the final requirement for an admission is your admission H&P note. Right here at the bottom of this page is where you can click on the admission P&E note. It opens up this new field where you can complete a note. Hopefully you're fairly familiar with these notes from the past. So everything that you've typed in these fields prior to this were brought in. Of course, you can continue to modify as appropriate. You can delete anything that is not appropriate. And when you're done with that, you would simply sign and submit. That brings open the opportunity to tag it. It's already addressed the way you wish. This is as a history and physical. We're going to hit sign, and that documents it. That completes your admission workflow. Thank you very much.